shit up. Then spend it, it's nothing, okay. We gon' run that shit up. Run that shit up. Then spend it, it's nothing, okay.
Y'all know what it is, man. It's the real two-tat.
And your man Marathon Manny.
Oh, praise to God.
For everything, and I mean everything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So listen, I'm behind the camera today because this is a segment we call Prison Stories with Manny, man. And you know, when it comes to the prison stories with Manny, I get behind the camera and I want Manny to just run about his life and his time in prison. But what we trying to do is now just segment, man, really focus on uplifting the youth because, you know, a lot of people think prison is cool. That stuff is really for the birds, man. That stuff is not cool, and we want more people that been in prison to talk about their experience in prison, so to persuade the youth from going there, man. Because so many things you can be in life, and sometimes, you know, you might bump your head, but like look at Manny's example. Went to prison, came out here doing great things, and so many other people like Manny. So without further ado, let's get into it, man. How you feeling mentally, Manny?
I'm feeling thankful. Mentally, I'm feeling thankful. Just a moment, you know, just like I took a moment driving, you know, like while I was driving home on my way here, I just took a moment to like really appreciate the little things that I have, you know. So I just feel blessed and thankful right now. Tired, but thankful.
Mm-hmm. And Happy New Year, by the way.
Yeah,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024.
Absolutely. So, Manny, if you could talk about it, man, what's some of the, we're going to get straight into it. What's like the craziest thing you have saw in prison, man?
The craziest thing?
If you can talk about it.
I mean, yeah, I won't say shit that's going to put anybody in no. It's a crazy scenario that I've saw.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy in the way that the system works,
mm-hmm.
right? I was thinking about this the other night when we set this time up. I was like, damn, like, I want to talk about that, right? The craziest thing, and you would be surprised, is not a violent act. It's not somebody being raped that I saw, nothing like that, right? The craziest thing that I saw was a situation or a scenario, two people's situations, right? Both of these people were what they call under the old law in the DC correctional system, right? They had a certain amount of years to do to life, meaning that once they do those certain amount of years, the parole board has the option to still keep them up until they're deceased or grant them parole and allow them to come out, right? And there was two people, like the parole, one thing about it, the parole board, I want to say either they come once a year, they don't come often, like you don't, like when people are going up to see parole, 9 times out of 10, like a lot of people are going up to see them around the same time, within the same week or so, right? And, you know, sometimes I believe they only come once a year, once or twice a year, something crazy like that. And so, there was two people that had that situation where they had a life sentence on the back of their sentencing, right? One person, he was what you would call a model inmate, right? An outstanding person, right? He committed his crimes back in the 90s, right? I don't know exactly when. He got sent, he took a plea deal, right, to 18 to life, right? It was on a murder charge, and he technically didn't even commit the murder. He was an accessory to the murder, and he pleaded guilty. You know, being young, not really knowing the laws and stuff like that, he pleaded guilty along with his co-defendant, right? And they gave him an 18 to life prison sentence. Then, like, you know, he did his time. He had been in at that time, at around that time, I want to say like around 18 years or something like that already. It was, give or take, like, I think it's his second or third time to see the parole board. I'm not 100% sure, but basically, throughout the time that he spent in prison while he was waiting to see the parole board, He did nothing but stay out the way, but do productive things, be a role model to younger individuals. Literally not getting himself into nothing, not learning no new habits, like not getting into no violent altercations. Like he studied all types of trades, did all types of classes, worked out. Like I said, he was a model, what they would call a model inmate. You didn't have to worry about his integrity in there. You didn't have to worry about him doing nothing that could get him sent to the hole, all types of stuff. He had been in the penitentiaries all the way down to mediums, right? And you would expect for him to be granted an opportunity to get released, being as though he had already fulfilled the first end of his sentence, which was 18 years, right? And the parole board had no mercy on him. They're like, nah, you ain't done it. And mind you, he had a binder of program over the years, programs, degree, whatever, like just so much stuff that he's done over the years that is positive and productive and that he could actually put to use out here in society to contribute, right? And the parole board had no mercy on him. They're like, nah, they denied him parole, right? One, like I said, he wasn't the person who actually committed the murder. Two, he's been doing as good as as he can in there, in his circumstances, right? From the penitentiaries to, like, it's hard to not get into shit in penitentiaries, right? And they still didn't, allow him to come home. I don't know if he's home now, God willing he is, but the fact that he spent 18, 20 years doing all positive, doing the best that he could in there, and still they're like, oh, that wasn't good enough, right? And then this is when I really saw and knew that the system was all types of fucked up, was when they gave us a contrast to look at, right? There was another individual, I don't know exactly his circumstances, but as well, he had a lengthy sentence under the old law, had to see the parole board as well. This individual didn't even have a GED, was on all types of bullshit, and is what you would call a butt bandit. You feel me? Like, basically, like, like, if you put both of these individuals in front of you, you could gain a lot more from this one who did all this positive stuff with himself in prison, did a lot that he could, learned a lot and applied himself to a lot that he could come out here and use. And compared to this guy, ain't got nothing on his mind, you know what I'm saying? He just on bullshit, just, just into the same stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like that, like him doing that time didn't do nothing, right? And they granted him parole. They told him, oh, you do this much more and we're going to, parole you out. Basically, they gave him a date compared to the person who did all this positive and productive stuff. And it really, really, like, for one, the fact that I was really cool with, with the guy who didn't get parole. I looked up to him, or I looked at him for, guidance and influence. And, sometimes I was fresh in on my sentence. I'm going through stuff or trying to, figure things out myself. He was a person I went to. So I saw that shit, and I saw, knowing him personally, knowing this guy, like if I come around him with any nonsense, he's gonna shut it down. You feel me? He taught me positive ways to make something for myself and did. You feel me? Gave me nothing but good influences, this and that. The other person, not to say too much, he tried to give me some type of wisdom or knowledge, and none of it was more so what I won't be.
Right.
You feel me? He was an example of what I wouldn't do, what I wouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? Being stuck in that arrested mindset, right? But it really was shocking and crazy to see that, to see that contrast. Like, this guy gets granted parole and hasn't done much of nothing with himself. This guy been doing nothing but all productive stuff, and y'all still saying fuck him. And that's just that was one of the most craziest scenarios I saw. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah. So you think about the prison system. Of course, we know it's not fair. Of course, we know it's a lot of innocent people that's incarcerated.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this though, man. We talked about this before. So you feel your personal belief is prison does not rehabilitate people. So what is this, man? So what do you think people should do? Like they commit crimes or do something. Where do you think they should go if prison doesn't rehabilitate people? What do you think they should do?
If you're looking at it on a bigger scale, it should just more so be that prison needs to be reformed a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much, like you could sit there and take reformed felons or reformed people that came out of those prison systems. If you let them lead the way, so many changes. There would be nothing but positive. You know what I'm saying? Like my whole thing is like, I have experienced it. I know what it feels like. I know all of that stuff, right? And me in there with the mindset of trying to better myself, trying to do good, and then sitting there trying to use the resources and tools provided to me, it felt like I was fighting an uphill battle. Like, all right, I get it. I'm paying my debt to society. Cool. My punishment is not being able to hold my son, not being able to be with family, you know, losing family members while I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? Like my family having to drive 8-10 hours to come visit me in mountains around, you know, having to deal with white people that don't really give a fuck about them and look at them crazy because they're not their complexion.
Right.
You feel me? And like, you know, certain things already was punishment enough. And I'm not, you know, not saying like there's always different circumstances as far as the severity of a person's crime, and I can't speak on that. I'm not God, I'm not a judge. You know what I'm saying? But if you have somebody that knows, all right, well, I fucked up, came to prison, well, at least let me better myself in here. Just like literally if they just made a whole lot of changes as far as prison reform and stuff like that.
All right. Let me ask you, if you was the head of the prison reform committee, what would you change? What would one thing you would change?
I would change privileges off of merit, in a sense. Or not even privileges, but more so like let me put the work in to get some of these, you know, benefits or more resources. Like, don't let me just sit here, try to find resources, and I'm still stuck. I'm always getting locked. Like, if, like for example, and I'm trying to put this in a way that I'm not sounding insensitive to the, you know, shit that goes on in prison, because sometimes, well, no, not even sometimes, 100% of the times, you gotta stand on your 10 as a man. And a lot of times things happen based off principle. You know, a lot of violent situations happen based off principle. And when you got a bunch of men with a bunch of years cooped up all around each other, and certain people are overstepping those principles or breaking those principles or morals or whatever,
You gotta demonstrate.
gotta demonstrate. And, you know, I know that sounds bad, but it's
That's
just
reality.
Yeah, it's just a reality. You feel me? Just like, you know, countries go to war. They be having to demonstrate, oh nah, y'all playing with us? You know, like, it's the same thing. We govern ourselves, and sometimes we gotta take it there. You feel me? But I could be sitting there, like a person could sit there and be out the way, doing everything that they have to do, and you know, they still suffer from situations. You know what I'm saying? But if ask the question again, because I feel like I just went off the topic.
Nah, you are good. I said if it was one thing you could change, if you was a part of the prison reform committee, what would that be?
Oh shit, more actual opportunities to, like, useful opportunities in the sense of, or resources that I can use while I'm in there to build myself out, to come out here and contribute to society.
Right.
You feel me? Literally, because I mean, yeah, you could be an electrician. Yeah, you could be a plumber. Yeah, you could put up drywall. Yeah, you could work in... Basically, it's anything having to do with labor work. Oh, it's okay for us to do it, right? But what if I don't have that type of mind, that I'm not mentally wired to do labor work?
Right.
What if, you allow me to do something like this, create myself a platform, use my words, you know, my creativity or something to be able to, you know, be more impactful. You feel me? They basically minimize the tools that you have in there. And they kind of like, if I'm using this word correctly, like they marginalize what you could go out there and do at their hands, right? Like, oh yeah, we help them do this. Meaning that, yeah, this person, you could become an electrician, but like I said, how many electricians we need? And do all of them have to be felons? You feel me? How about people that, you know, maybe want to get into IT? You know what I'm saying? People that want to learn business. You know what I'm saying? People that want to learn accounting. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many other talents that people have, but in there you wouldn't know to tap into those talents.
So far.
Yeah, you can only go so far. They put a hell of a ceiling,
yeah, for sure,
on you.
And they act like they help you, but they really not.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
It might, and I'm not saying they don't help anybody, because I'm pretty sure that it helps a lot of people, but not the majority. You feel me? It's about the majority, you know.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, the way that prison system is set up, it's not.
Let me ask you a real question.
Yeah.
Why is it that people don't come home and talk about prison? Like, when they come home and talk about prison, man, I was doing this in prison. I wasn't going like that in prison. I was living like this in prison. I had phones. I was living good. And then you see people on Instagram, social media, you see them living life like, damn, I'm still living the same way I was outside. Why is it never like, come on and look, younger, don't go to jail. Don't do this. And this is the whole, you know, point of this prison story with Manny. Don't do this. Don't do that. It's always like, damn, they showed, man, I'm still living good in prison. I was like that in prison. Why people don't never talk about, like, man, this shit, prison fucked up? Why people don't ever talk about that, you think?
Because, for one, from a young age, most of the people from the ghetto are in a sense programmed to accept struggle, right? Two, person, like, I only been arrested one time, right? So I didn't grow up in the juvenile system, but a lot of people that was in the juvenile system are now in prison. It's like if you look at percent, and I'm going off the top. If you look at statistics and percentages, most of the people that was in juvenile are more than likely to be in prison.
Like a pipeline.
Fuck yeah. There's not really too many. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a very low percentage. And I'm not speaking in a sense of I know the facts. I'm speaking in the sense of I can just off the bat tell you, and you do your own homework. It's probably a very low percentage of people that went to juvenile, or, you know, was in the juvenile correctional system, and did not go to prison, to adult prison, right? Most of the time, people grew up in the system, right? And coming from the hood and coming from the ghetto and stuff, like, it's like we already was programmed to be okay with, like, it was a part of the life that we was in and living, right? It was a part of where we came from. From the time that I can remember, my uncle, mind you, I'm a first generation of, you know, American. My mother and father came from El Salvador, right? My uncle came to the United States and he did time in prison. He was in Lorton. My uncle was in Lorton, right? And he didn't go to prison because it was like he was just out here just, you know, thugging. He went to prison because he was standing on business. Some guys tried to assault him, or, you know, try to cause him some type of bodily harm, rob him or something like that. And I believe he stabbed one of them or a couple of them. He wounded them, you know what I'm saying, defending himself. But even then, because he was defending himself, because he was demonstrating or standing on business, he still had to go to prison, right? And what they do after that, deported. So not only did he lose this opportunity to come out in America and thrive and, you know, build his life up to something better, but, you know, he lost the opportunity to that, but also he didn't even get a fair shake. Like, I was defending myself. I was like, fuck you want me to do? Somebody's trying to harm me, you know, and I defend myself. Now I can't defend myself, right? And then he got deported and got killed by the police in El Salvador in front of his daughter and his partner. You feel me?
Let me ask you this: what year was this? Were you alive during this time?
Yeah. I was like around 4, somewhere. I was small, but that was my first traumatizing encounter, traumatizing memory. My mother and my sister was in the kitchen, and I was like really young, so I could remember that. Like, I remember just like my sister crying, like basically them holding each other, crying in front of me, and I didn't really understand why. I just knew it was something really, really bad. And then of course, I probably like figured it out once, when I was younger. I just didn't remember. But over the years of me remembering that situation and then like constantly hearing what had happened as I was growing, it was traumatizing.
So let me ask you, did that grow hatred towards the police?
As when I got older enough to understand.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as you got older, like, did it have you make you?
When I was a kid, I still had my innocence.
But even as your family members, like, that didn't make them hate the police. Like, damn, he defended himself. Then he gets deported back home. Then he gets killed by the police in front of his wife, and his child.
When I got older, it made me I remember, like, before I got arrested, like, I had a job where there used to always be police officers coming in there. And of course I was cordial with them, but I didn't, And then there was this one dude, one police officer, he used to always come in there, and I used to always like comment on the shoes, because he used to always keep some new shoes, some new drops. And I'm like, oh, you got them joints, right? And so, like, I don't know what the fuck I don't know, but he was trying to like tell me to join the cadet program. I guess because he saw, like, all right, I'm young, I ain't got too much going for myself. Man, join the cadet program. And in my head, I'm like, bro, that's the last thing I would ever fucking do. Fuck y'all. You feel me? But let's reel it back to we were talking about you said why people don't come home instead of like push the, hey, don't go there, don't go. You know what I'm saying? Try to stay out the way. Don't go down that road. Again, because the way that most people were programmed, that is already in their system. Also because they more than likely are institutionalized. The system taught them to accept that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And then also pride, pride and ego. Like the thing is, it's easy to pop your shit when you sat there and went through a situation like that, knowing you stood on your 10 as a man or whatever. You didn't tell on nobody. You kept your integrity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a good face card, all types of stuff. Like, it's easy to pop your shit. Yeah, in a sense, you proud of yourself.
Make you feel stoic in a way.
Yeah, because like it's like a fucking army veteran or a war veteran. Come out like, man, I fought for this country. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm proud of myself, or I made it through something that most
of the people can't make it up.
Oh man, it's so crazy that I sat there and made it through it. And I wasn't really thinking too much of that, right? It was the people around me that was like, dog, like, I don't know how I would do it. I don't know how I would survive. And I'm just like the fuck, I ain't had no choice.
Yeah,
I ain't had no choice. I ain't sitting there bragging about it, but like, the fuck you wanted me to do? You feel me? So it's something you get asked some of the craziest questions.
Let me ask you this though, man.
Yeah.
Was it days you ever thought you wasn't gonna make it out of there, or get more time?
Yeah.
Talk about that if you can.
It's like when you, like I say, sometimes you gotta demonstrate, or you gotta stand your ground and whatever. Some situations put you in that fight or flight, right? Where sometimes you gotta either you gonna have to take it there or you fuck around and take an L.
Yeah, for sure.
You feel me? And not to say too much, but like just more so like it was a situation, and once the dust settled down, I'm kind of like was outnumbered, and I basically prepared myself for anything. And when you sit there and like in the moment, you realize like, damn, like I'm going home in a couple years. If something go wrong or something happen, because my whole thing is I'm not the type of person that I come and look for problems, but I'm damn sure not going. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I'm not a shit starter, and I don't look for problems, but at the same time, I'm gonna stand on what I gotta stand on the best that I can.
No question.
You feel me?
No question.
And yeah, like I had thoughts like, damn, like, and especially after I got through that situation like that, and I'm just like, damn, but like it was hanging on a fucking thread. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be like that.
Yeah, snap a finger.
At the snap of a finger, you could either catch a life sentence or somebody stab you and kill you,
For sure.
or beat you to death or something. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
That's why people go so hard in prison, because it's like,
you don't want to be fucked with like that. Leave me alone, but you know what's
no,
going to
not
happen.
even, no. You'd be surprised, bro. It be the
people
most
still
quiet and humble ones that be the most dangerous.
Yeah.
Promise you that.
Yeah.
All that loud shit, most of the times.
Yeah, it get you late.
Yeah, I'm more so saying like, if you gotta take it there, you gotta take it there. You feel me? That's why, because like, I don't want to hurt you, but I'm not. I value my life a lot more than I value my life, my safety, my health a lot more than anything else.
And is it more of you in fear, kind of?
I mean,
they said a scared person to kill you quick.
Fuck yeah, but I think people look at fear and look at it in the wrong light, right? How the fuck you supposed to be brave if there's nothing to fear?
Exactly. We all got fears.
I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was fearless.
Yeah.
But the only difference is that you gotta be brave. And the only time that you're able to exercise being brave or courageous is when there's things to be fearful of. Right? So, I mean, yeah, like, of course there's a lot of shit to be scared of. But sometimes my biggest fear wasn't physical harm. My biggest fear was losing my mom. Losing my losing my mom. Yeah, killed. Like during that time, like I used to be like, damn, like I used to ask God, like just, let me come home. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask this, because you had a 6-year sentence, right? 8 year altogether.
7, 9. See, that's the way that time works is kind of weird, but basically I had a 8.5 year sentence.
Yeah.
But with good time and like you earn good time over the years, and you get halfway house time and stuff like that. I also the halfway house time. I think I got like 9 months halfway house time, so I did 6 years and 8 months.
Yeah, did that time feel long? Like damn, cause
yeah.
like damn, like god damn, this shit moving slow.
Fuck yeah, it felt like doing it. Yes, I mean, but the thing is, I kept myself busy as shit, right? Like as I got more settled into, it's so crazy that like how that transition worked. Mind you, like imagine not having ever been in a situation like this, like never been in prison, none of this shit, and this the first time you've been away for this long, or going on this long, because like like I was doing years from family, from your parents. Like I never, like when I got locked up, I never, like up until then I always lived up under my mother and father's roof. Like I was still living with my parents. You feel me? I didn't even get a chance to be like, oh, I got my own place. I like living on my own, none of that. So it was my first time. Basically, it was like what you would say, like your first time like out the nest. My first time out the nest was straight to prison. You feel me? So during the time, hell yeah, that shit felt like forever. It used to be days where, like, you know, they have count time, so they'll lock you down, and you know, you be locked down. They come around and count, but a lot of times you probably take a nap, read, or do something, you know, in between time. And sometimes I used to take a nap, I would fall asleep, then I wake up like it's so, I can't even explain it, but it's like this weird feeling that I used to have, like, of like being like this was my reality. Like, you know, you sitting there like, damn, I'm really sitting here in prison. You know, and then like your life would sit there and like you would like think about your life and think about, you know, like even from being a kid to all the way up until now, you just like, God, like, damn, like I'm really sitting here. And mind you, you sitting there thinking that, and then knowing that out here in society, the world is turning consistently. What time is it right now? Oh yeah, in about an hour or so, they about to lock down
For the night.
For the night.
And you come out what time in the morning?
They pop doors around 5:30 in the morning. Something like that.
Okay. And let me ask you, Manny, because you had told me a story. If you could talk about it, you told me this off camera, how when you was about to come home, I guess you were drawing an American flag or something like that, and the guy had pulled you in the office and just kind of humiliated you. Something.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember. So if you can go in detail about it.
I got into it with the warden. Well, the warden got into it with me. I was chilling, minding my business, right? But this is an example of how wild and goofy that system is, right? This was when COVID had hit, right? So mind you, they got us on all types of restrictions, all types of lockdowns. I think I've talked about it before, or even Nutty had talked about it. I think the factories that they have in the prison, in the federal prison and stuff, is called Unicor, right? Unicor at the prison that I was at, they specialized in making garments for the military. They specialized in making like parkas and stuff like that for military. So when COVID hit, they basically put the responsibility of making homemade masks on the inmates that worked at Unicor, right? So inmates were sitting there making masks for other inmates, in a sense, and the prison staff was passing them out to us and stuff. So in that case, I had my own mask that was provided by the prison staff. Mind you, they want us to social distance, don't stand too close to nobody, keep your mask on. Like, they was treating us like we the ones that invented fucking COVID. Like, the only way that COVID could get in this prison, because we already, in a sense, we're already quarantined. The only way that COVID could get in this, inside this prison is through the people that be in and out of this prison. And it's not the inmates. We're not going nowhere. Right? So they pressing us crazy. Like, it's like they used that shit just for oppression. It wasn't like they sat there and made these like memos about, oh, we care about you guys' health and this. They didn't give a fuck. Right? They was going off of the federal guidelines, federal policies, whatever the federal government was telling them they had to do. They did it in their own style. But yeah, we gonna press y'all out. This gonna give us a reason to fuck with y'all, right? Y'all locking down. Y'all only coming out every 3 days for showers, all types of shit, right? Quarantine, all types of shit. And so I'm walking. At this point, they was loosening up just a little bit, and they was letting us go pick up our lunch, right? Because they was tired. For one, they was letting us go pick up our like hot meal and then a bag dinner. Right, so for a long time, we was getting basically one meal, and sometimes the shit was lukewarm, and your bag dinner, which wasn't really, like, we didn't have microwaves, you know what I'm saying? But I'm walking in the line and stuff, and I forgot who saw me. It was like one of the staff members saw me. I had personalized my mask. I put a DC flag on there, literally. That, you see that one right there? Same one. Just wrote 3 stars and 2 stripes. It wasn't, I mean, it was, yes, it was a representation. I ain't gonna sit here and act like it was a representation of DC, because that's where I'm from, right? But it wasn't nothing like with malintent, right? Yeah, it's just being proud of being from DC, right? And I forgot who said, basically pulled me to the side like, oh, you're not supposed to have that on your mask, this, and that. And I'm like, damn, like, I ain't, like, you know, I'm just like, damn, all right, I didn't think it was that big of a deal type shit. So, somebody else coming for, you saw it, and like, mind you, they basically put me on the spot, like, they put me to the side, like, oh, you wrong for that, I'm like, all right, like, then somebody, like, the assistant warden said some shit, you know, sitting there, like, they just using it as an opportunity to fuck with you, like, just coming at you all crazy, like, you, like, I sat there and put fuck Trump on my fucking mask or some shit. Right? So then the warden sits there, he's right there, he's like, oh, da. And I'm like, oh, like, all right, like, he's like he just started just making a, like, he got in my face and like was saying some shit. I forgot what the fuck he was saying because I wasn't even listening to him, right? And then like he I guess he see that I'm not taking him serious, or I wasn't sitting there like, oh my God, like shooken up or something, I don't know. So he doing all this, he talking about, oh, you think you tough, this ain't my first rodeo, and this, talking all this tough ass shit. Mind you, he 300 pounds, round as fuck, right, out of shape. He can't even chase me if he had to. You know what I'm saying? The best thing he got is fucking pepper spray, right? Can't do nothing with me. Right, and I'm literally sitting there in my head, like, I'm kind of laughing because I'm like, bro, like, he doing all this tough ass stuff. But if and of course I'm not no crash dummy, I'm not, you know, tripping like that. But like, I was just start putting my hands on him, he couldn't, like, they would have to get me off him, right? And I'm saying, like, you doing all this tough ass shit, you trying to assert your power. And like in my head, I'm like, you trying to assert his power and still fearing me because he's a warden, bro. Like. Come on, bro, like, I laughed. I was chuckling, and he didn't like that shit. I guess it was his pride and ego, like, he did not like that shit. And he sicked his goons on me, you know what I'm saying? They basically sent me up to the captain's office and like, came in that bitch 20 strong, had me handcuffed, and they just like strip searching me, motherfucking, like, they just trying to. And he's like, what the fuck you do to the one? I'm like, dude, like, mind you, like, a lot of times them COs already know you because they deal with you on a daily basis. And most of the times, like, you know, if you're a CO, you see inmates, you know, for the most part, yeah, who's a problem starter, who, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. And they know my little routine is go work out, go to the library. That's about it. Like, that's the only time you really see me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was out the way. And so, I guess that may have been my saving grace for them not to jump me. But they definitely was pressing me like, bro, like give us a read. We just looking for a read. I guess they was trying to provoke me for them to, you know. Yeah. And so, you know, they put me in a cell, a handcuff, like a holding cell, like small as shit. But before they had put me in that bitch, they had basically sprayed pepper spray in there. Like, just enough for me not to, like, not be in there.
Yeah, for sure.
But make me very uncomfortable. Mind you, I suffer from asthma. I don't suffer from asthma in the sense of, like it's strong, chemical strong, like, because my mother worked in the Pentagon. That's how I got asthma. She used to deal with, like, she used to handle strong chemicals when she was pregnant. Right. So that's what triggers my asthma, strong chemicals and shit. Them, of course, they don't know that. They don't give a fuck. You know, sprayed that shit, and the pepper spray, like, really uncomfortable. I had to sit there. I don't even know how long I was there. I know, like, man, it was
long time.
Yeah, it was within the same day, but it, you know, like, you don't have no sense of time. You don't know what's going on, so you just sitting in that bitch, and you know, I'm handcuffed, uncomfortable, and they didn't even let me put my socks back on, cuz. You know what I'm saying? So basically, like, they had me sitting there, and bro was like, yeah, like, it's either this or we take your ass to the hole. So, and then even when they was like fucking with me, they're like, why you, like, what you high? Why you smiling? This and that. I'm like, bro, like, I'm cool. Like, I'm just, it is what it is. Like, I'm not.
Can't break me.
Yeah, like, in my head, that's all it was like, you ain't gonna break me. You feel me? You ain't about to sit here and make me feel like less of a man. You the one that's looking at my private part.
Facts.
I mean, don't you feel like less of a man that you gotta sit there and ask me to lift my sack up? Cause I don't know, but I was very uncomfortable, handcuffed, couldn't do shit for real. Like, but I just, I took that shit on the chin. It was what it was. I felt like it was a lesson from the universe. That, sometimes you're gonna be put in situations that's gonna feel like, it's made to break you. But how fucking strong are you? And sometimes we sit there and like, we fall apart because of what's going on outside of us, right? Oh my God, my bills, I deal with stress now, but at the end of the day, I know like as long as you're able to find some peace within, as long as you're able to sit there and be grateful and have some gratitude and love in your heart, a lot of times the shit that's going on around us is only temporary, so it's like, why even trip so much?
Sure. So fast forward, you home now, man. You've been home, what, 2.5 years or 3 years?
Closer to 3 years now.
All right, close to 3 years. And you had, how many years you had on papers?
I had 3 years on papers, but, they basically put me on unsupervised probation.
Yeah.
Because I've, been doing good.
So you don't have to check in with your PO, nothing like that. Basically, that's what that means. So
I can travel out the country.
You can travel, exactly. So saying all that to say, man, like, saying all that to say, like, yo, you did them years in prison, right? Now you home, no infractions, you ain't been back to jail, got no trouble, walking a straight line, you working a job, doing so many great things, got the podcast. So, like, where did that come from, man? Like, how do you stay focused, man, for people? Because we have a lot of people that go back to prison, How do you stay focused? Like, you know what, I ain't going back in that